Hey everybody, welcome to Bodhi and Wellness. Today we're talking Qigong for osteoporosis. Now as always, if you haven't already, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. So before we start, I always want to say a big thank you and shout out to the patrons that are supporting this channel. If you're looking to help me out, you can click that Patreon button and support all the work that I'm doing and keep us producing videos every week. Osteoporosis, something that obviously millions of people suffer with, and we need to think about a few different facets when we think of treatment and maintenance of bone density. So what we're looking at is what's called osteoblastic activity or bone creation activity, and your bones are both growing and eating themselves, what's called osteoclastic activity, at the same time. And as we age, you got some building and some breaking down, but when we're younger, there's more building than breaking down. As we age, there's more breaking down than building. So we want to look at a few different things to make sure that we keep stimulating that osteoblastic activity so that our bones stay nice, strong, and stable. Now, so one part obviously is nutrition. And we want to make sure that we are putting in the right nutrients in our body, especially calcium, especially vitamin C, especially vitamin D, to make sure that we are getting all the building blocks that we need to make sure that the body can build those bones. And it's a misconception that we need calcium from dairy products. This is actually not something we need. We are not designed to be drinking the breast milk of another species. So where we're supposed to get our calcium from is, of course, our dark green leafy veggies, all the cruciferous veggies, our broccoli, our spinach, our kale, and we are supposed to be just filling ourselves with as much of that as possible. Remember, always 3/4 of your plate should be filled with those dark green leafy veggies. So that's one aspect of things. The other aspect is making sure that we are not ingesting foods that are creating inflammation in our body, leading to a constant inflammatory state and all that oxidative stress that just breaks us down and leads us to a chronic sympathetically stimulated or fight or flight response. And those are the big five. So we want to look at our key inflammatories. Those would be wheat, dairy, corn, soy, and processed sugar. And honestly, removing these five, best case scenario, but limiting these as much as possible, especially the wheat and dairy, go a heck of a long way to keep the body strong and stable internally, help your digestion to be efficient so that you're going to absorb nutrients. And once again, a lot of the time, it's not the vitamins or food that we're taking in, it's because we're just not absorbing very much. So many of us are actually malnourished, and it has nothing to do with how much food we're taking in. It's because the pipes that absorb the nutrients is just not very effective, not very efficient. The last aspect would be always, and a big believer and a big proponent of doing a pro and prebiotic. Really, really important to help absorption of minerals and nutrients in the body and make sure you stay healthy. But then on the other side of things, we want to stimulate the body in a manual way so that we can keep the body nice and strong. Now, the greatest thing, or the most simple thing, is impact. And unfortunately, as we age, we tend to do activities that have a lot less impact, and we're always being, warned about watch your impact. So we'll do recumbent bike, or we'll do swimming. But these things don't create enough stimulus for us to keep that bone density nice and strong and keep us from slowly degrading. So a little impact goes a long way. So we're going to do a nice simple Qigong program today so that we can stimulate some osteoblastic activity, stimulate some bone density, and on the other side of things, once again, making sure we shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Rest, digest, heal, and allow the body to absorb that nutrients and build you back up. So let's start things off, as always, with a few cleansing breaths. Step the feet slightly wider than shoulder width, bend the knees, tuck the pelvis under, lift from the crown of the head. And it's a big thing, just being mindful of posture, that we don't get here. We don't want to be shuffling around. We want to stand up nice and tall at all times. So we're going to lift from the crown of the head, sink into the ground, knees are bent, pelvis tucked under. So cross the hands in front. Take a deep breath in, visualize gathering white light all around the body as you breathe in. As you breathe out, pull it down, filling the body. melting all tension down into the ground. Into. And melt. In 3, gather the light and melt. In 4 and melt. One last breath, nice and slow. Gather the light and melt. At the bottom we rise up, mixing yin and yang. Beautiful. Now we're going to move to some what's called waking up the chi, and we typically use this to stimulate lymphatic movement around the body, but today we're actually going to be using with a little bit of a cupped hand. We're going to go just a bit more forceful, about if 10 out of 10 is as hard as you can hit, 4 or 5 more than enough. And we're going to give a nice easy tap over the entire body. And this stimulus, this impact, stimulates osteoblastic activity, creates bone density, keeps the bones strong. A really simple practice that you can do, just taking a few minutes every day. Make sure you get every inch. And of course, as we do this, we're stimulating the acupuncture meridian that moves through the tissue, moving chi and blood, helping the body strengthen itself. But just the simple mechanics of tapping stimulates that stress, that impact stress, which stimulates bone formation. Really that easy. Now let's take a little extra time on those areas that typically get a little bit weak. For example, the pelvic girdle, those hip bones, sides of the hip. And once again, we're not doing it with a flat palm, with a cupped hand. We want to feel that nice penetration through the tissue. You'll feel everything resonating. Let's go to the lower back. And we're going to use an OK sign. We're going to tap that lower back. Because as we talked about many times before, bone is ruled by the kidney. Strength of the kidney, strength of the bones. So we always want to give a little extra stimulation on the lower back. Really get those kidneys firing. And of course, people also tend to have that degeneration in the lower spine. The lordotic curve, those L, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, S1. All those lower back guys, so a little extra time there. And once again, let's go down over the legs. Nice, good tap everywhere. Let's spend a little extra time on those knees. Lots of acupuncture points in and around the knees. But once again, all weight-bearing joints, we want nice and strong. Let's go down to the feet and the toes. Make sure you get them all. Don't miss an inch. Once again, let's spend a little extra time on those hips. Make sure that pelvis is nice and strong. Beautiful. So now we got all that chi flowing through the body. We got that osteoblastic activity. All that body has felt a little bit of stimulus. And now we want a little bit of full body impact. Now, we don't want too much, but what we're going to start with is just a little bounce. So this actually feels really, really great on the body. So you're going to let the arms completely relax, and you're going to just bounce from your knees. and letting everything shake. And we're going to do a gentle turn to the left as we bounce, letting everything shake. Totally relax the arms, turning back to center. It feels actually really nice. Feeling everything relaxed, turning to the right, just getting that bounce. This way we can get some gravity acting on our body without jarring impact. And at the same time, we're working all the muscles of the legs, keeping them strong, always moving blood and oxygen. Now those arms nice and loose. They should be shaking like noodles. Coming back to center. Now I want you to come up on the ball of your foot. So now the heels aren't touching the ground, if you can. If it's too much, no problem, stay on flat foot. But if you can, now we're gonna go on the ball of the foot. So we get a little bit more of an aggressive bounce. And we're gonna turn. Totally relaxing. Feeling everything shake. Like you're a big Etch-a-Sketch. Remember Etch-a-Sketch? I'm getting old. Shaking it up, bouncing everywhere. Let those arms relax. Now being up on the ball of the foot like this really stimulates those interosseous muscles, those muscles that run actually between the bones of your feet, strengthening the bones of your feet, strengthening your gait so that your feet don't fall in. Still relaxing. Now, we're gonna lift up high and a gentle drop. Lift up high, gentle drop. Lift up high, gentle drop. And let's start again. So now we're flat foot again. Shaking it up. Everything's loose. Feeling all the tissue jump and bounce around. Make sure those arms are really loose, coming back to center. And to the right. Giving it a good shake. Back to center. Just makes you want to smile. Turning to the left. You know, Qigong sometimes just makes you feel like a kid again. Doing those kind of funny things that you don't do as an adult. Shaking it up. Is everything feeling loose? Couple more bounces. Let's come back to center here. Get a really good bounce. Now let's go up on the ball of the foot if you can. Get a little bit more dynamic bounce. Turning to the right. Feeling those feet grip the ground, but everything stays relaxed. Bouncing up and down. Totally loose. Turning to the right. Shaking it up. Back to center. Let's do one more turn. So easy. Coming back to center. Last time to the right. Everything's relaxed. We come back to center for the last few shakes. And then we lift up high, drop. We lift up high, drop. We lift up high, drop. Beautiful. Step the feet in. Finish off as always with a few cleansing breaths. Deep breath in, visualize gathering that white light all around the body. Breathing out, melting all tension down into the ground. In 2. Melt. In 3. Melt. In 4, nice and slow, gather the light. and melt. Last breath, as slowly as possible. Gather the light and pulling it down, melting over your body. At the bottom, once again, let's gather up a little wisdom water of the kidney, and at the heart, turn it over and wash down the heart fire. One last time, rising up and washing down. So well done. So this is a really, really simple practice, and literally you can do this every single day. And as always talk about with Qigong, the more the better. If you want to do this once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or every morning or every night, absolutely go ahead. It's all about self-healing. So give it a try. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, please do me a favor, help me to help other people. So share this video with your friends or family, your grandma, your grandpa, someone out there who needs a little extra bone density. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.